I've a confession to make, something I want you to hear. This news that's going to break is only meant for your ear. I've kept it a secret for ages, it seems to me. Now I simply have to set it free. I want you to be the first one to know I love you, love you. I kept it mum, I had such self-control. I didn't tell it to a single soul. I want you to be the first one to know you thrill me, thrill me. I hadn't breathed it to a columnist. I didn't tell my folks that you exist. Nobody knows that we have even kissed. So now can't you see that I'm all aglow? I want you to be the first one to know. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me on this tribute to the music of Mr. Arthur Siegel, a man who was beloved by everybody who knew him. So sit back, relax, and learn all about Arthur. I want you to be the first one to know you thrill me, thrill me. I hadn't breathed it to a columnist. I hadn't told my folks that you exist. Well, I haven't even told my analyst. But now can't you see that I'm all aglow? I want you to be the first one to know. Good afternoon. I'm Michael Levine. Thank you for joining me for this celebration of the career of Arthur Siegel. You will hear the best of Broadway and cabaret coming to you from New York City, Hollywood, and even Seoul, Korea. Being on the board of the American Popular Song Society, which is sponsoring today's concert, means I have a great love for the Great American Songbook, songs known and not known. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a musical director, vocal coach, and sheet music archivist. I've been collecting sheet music since I was young. However, my collection grew in leaps and bounds almost exactly 26 years ago after my friend Arthur Siegel passed away. Arthur lived across the street from me, and if you look out here, you can see where Arthur lived. He lived in the building out there with the balconies in between the two other buildings, in the same building that Betty Comden lived in. And he would come over with Steve Ross, who you'll be hearing from shortly, to look through my sheet music. Little did I know that I'd be hauling file cabinet after file cabinet over here after Arthur died. I sum up Arthur's humility and modesty with the three words and phrases that I most associate with him. Me? Really? And you liked it? Arthur was born in 1923 in Lakewood, New Jersey, and he grew up in Asbury Park. He studied music at Juilliard and acting at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. Eddie Cantor's daughter, Marilyn, was a classmate at the Academy, and through her, Arthur got a job accompanying Eddie Cantor. You're going to hear more about Arthur's relationship with Eddie and his daughters a little later. His first Broadway show was called Lovely Me in 1946. He was actually in this play, but he also provided two songs, which he wrote with Jeff Bailey. Here to sing the title song from Lovely Me is Broadway performer and cabaret star T. Oliver Reed.
The embrace of love won't seem strong to you if someone's heart won't belong to you. Summer, winter, spring, love won't mean a thing. But when you find someone who'll stay near to you, forever dear to you, then you will hear love's rhapsody. But who, you ask, will that someone be? Who'll make stormy days seem sunny, dear? Who'll make you spend your money, dear? Who'll laugh though all your jokes ain't funny, dear? lovely me, who'll fix you a tasty snack at night, who'll live to scratch your back at night, who'll let you beat her at blackjack at night, charming me, who will take care of you and protect each sock pond and share of you, who will sigh when you buy her mink, darling, who do you think, who will mop the floors each day for you, who'll sit home and crochet for you, who'll kill the dame who makes a play for you, who else, lovable, lovely me, who will take care of you, who'll protect each sock pond and share of you, who will sigh when you buy her mink, darling, who do you think, who will mop the floors each day for you, who'll sit home and crochet for you, who'll kill the dame who makes a play for you, who else, lovable, little, charming, healthy, lovely me.
Now, we don't know much more about Jeff Bailey, but I did find another song he wrote with Arthur. I liked it so much that I decided to show it to the queen of cabaret herself, K.T. Sullivan. Here's K.T. to tell us a little more.
Hello, I'm K.T. Sullivan at the Mabel Mercer Foundation, and Michael asked me to do a little song by Arthur, and I was so impressed. I knew Arthur Siegel and I adored him. Everyone adored Arthur. But these words by Jeff Bailey are quite wonderful. And there's so many of them. I'm going to be looking at these words. I hope you don't mind. But I just love Arthur's music. I loved Arthur, and everyone loved Arthur, especially Kay Ballard. I can see why she never used anyone else but Arthur. It was always Arthur at the piano. And when I first met Kay and Arthur, it was in 1975 in Oklahoma. I was at Oklahoma City. I was fourth year at the University of Oklahoma. And before I graduated, we did a show. Kay came in to do her show at a place called the Lincoln Plaza Dinner Theater in Oklahoma City. And I was a shindigger, and so was James Followell. Michael, we were shindiggers. We wore these little blue suede costumes with suede fringe around the hips. It was, anyway, that's Oklahoma. And Kay did her show, and Arthur came, and we all fell in love with him. And she said, you must look me up. You must come to LA. So I did. That's why I went to LA first, because of Kay Ballard. She said, come and see me. So I did, and she invited me to come and see her on the set of some shows she was doing on television. I did some television and things like that before I came to New York. But then in 76, I think it was, or 77, when my parents came to visit me, we took a trip to Las Vegas. It's not far to Las Vegas when you're in Los Angeles. And there was Kay Ballard starring at the Sands. I said, let's go see Kay Ballard. So we did. We were sitting there in the audience, and she didn't know I was coming, so we were sitting there with my parents. But in the middle of the show, she stopped the show and said, oh, Arthur, look, it's Big Eyes from Oklahoma. My parents were thrilled. But Arthur, I got to know again here in New York, and he was always so generous with his music, as he was very generous with Michael with his music, but I loved so many of his songs. But I'm so glad you found this one, Michael, for me, and I'll make an attempt here with all these words. But what do you have to say about the show?
Well, we don't know. We're not sure what it's from. The lyricist is Jeff Bailey. Now, Jeff, you may recall, sang the song that T. Oliver Reed sang at the beginning of the show called Lovely Me, which is from a play called Lovely Me that Arthur was in and also wrote two songs for. But this is the only other thing I had by Jeff Bailey, and we don't know anything about him. We couldn't find him on the internet, but I think this song, which is called Lampoon for Louie, is so funny. I thought Steve Ross and I said, that's for KT.
I just adore it. I'm putting together the cabaret convention right now, so I wish I could learn these. I'll learn these later, but for now, here we go, Michael. I am a lady in waiting in the court of Louis XV. I spend all my days dreaming of ways of exterminating the queen. I'm mostly in love with Louis, and I pray one day him to wed. In the meantime, I stay blind on Drambuie and wait for the queen with her regency sheen to fall on her regency head. Once I took a box of Her Majesty's powder, and just to scare the silly little pig, I mixed it all in fun with powder from a gun and blew the hell out of her wig. Now I'm comb my curls polish my pearls while I wait and wait for some more. But I am different from the rest of the girls. I know what I'm waiting for. It's not the plate of French chop suey or the horse that is running at buoy or an English girl guide calling cooey, but Louis, Louis, Louis. I'd cook and sew and clean and dust his throne for him. I'd work my satin corset to the bone for him. And though I'm shy, I won't display my shyness. I'll stoop to any lowness for his highness. I'd risk my pretty neck, I'd even die for him, to jump into the fountains of Versailles for him. Although it's sure to aggravate my sinus, I'd stoop to any lowness for his highness. I adore his manly torso, how I'm longing for his masculine embracement. The bags that lie beneath his eyes I love, but more so the bags of gold he's buried in his basement. If ever an assassin's on the hunt for him, I'd use the nearest instrument that's blunt for him. You'll find that I have very little coyness. I'll stoop to any lowness for his hoyness. I'd love to brush and wave and comb and curl his toop. To any lowness for his highness, I'd stoop. All day I lie about and slink and slouch for him, on the bottom-breaking Louis XV couch for him. He'd be my kingly lion, I his lioness. I'd stoop to any lowness for his highness. From dusk till dawn through his salon I'd romp with him, and there would be circumstance than pomp with him. I'd not accept a sou, much less a bonus. His highness for I'd stoop to any lowness. Oh, frustration, you are hateful. I am in a spin and absolutely nervish. To calm my nerves I'd eat hors d'oeuvres and buy the plateful. I'm feeling like a whirling hors d'oeuvre-ish. I'd wear my most alluring dishabille for him. I'd ride Chantilly and break my privy seal for him. I long to be the favorite chicken in his scoop. To any lowness for his highness, I'd stoop. If any maid would wink at him, that maid I'd fire. Then with a careful aim at her, I'd cannonade I'd fire. I'd blast her to the cornfields of Salinas. I'd stoop to any lowness for his heinous. I'd love to be the dinghy to his royal sloop. To any lowness for his highness, I'd stoop.
Ladies and gentlemen, K.T. Sullivan.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michael.
K.T., for singing Jeff Bailey and Arthur Siegel's song,
Lowness
Lampoon
for his
for
highness,
Louis.
his highness Michael Levine.
And Her Highness,
What would we
K.T.
do
Sullivan.
without you?
1 week before Lovely Me opened, a Broadway musical opened called If the Shoe Fits. It was a Cinderella story, like If the Shoe Fits, get it? The music was by David Raksin, who you may know as the composer of the music to the movie Laura. Laura, da 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 da. And the lyrics were by June Carroll. The show was produced by June's brother, Leonard Sillman. It only ran 2 weeks less than Lovely Me. And Arthur was introduced to June and Leonard, and they were instrumental for the rest of his career. Leonard had produced a revue 10 years earlier called New Faces. He used some of June's lyrics. He decided to hire Arthur and June to create songs for a new incarnation of the show. New Faces of 1952 opened on May 16, 1952, and ran for 365 performances. Besides putting Arthur and June on the map, this production launched the careers of Paul Lynde, Alice Ghostley, Eartha Kitt, Robert Clary, Carol Lawrence, Ronnie Graham, Melvin Brooks, you may know as Mel Brooks, and Sheldon Harnick, then known as Sheldon M. Harnick. Arthur supervised the music on the production. This is the original sheet music to our next song. This is what it looked like, the music from New Faces of 1952. And to sing this song is Drama Desk Award nominee John Peterson.
Life has been kind to me. I've riches enough to buy whatever catches my eye, but nothing catches my eye. My appetite has faded. Alas, the guy is jaded. When I was a little boy, poor and plain, all I asked of life was in this refrain: penny candy, candy for a penny. I wish I could still get a kick from a penny peppermint stick, or an indigestible gummy hat that stuck to my teeth and made me fat. Penny candy, candy for a penny. I wish I could bounce a red ball on the brick of a tenement wall and never ask for more at all, at all. Candy, candy, the candy store I could never pass without pressing my nose against the glass. Candy, candy, and oh how I'd sigh, alas, alack, for a doll made of sweet chewing wax. Penny candy, candy for a penny. I ask for more than a penny now. I've grown very wise, you see, but I wish that a sweet were still fun to eat. Now a penny's a memory. A black and shiny licorice drop, or a lemon yellow lollipop. I ask for more than a penny now. I've grown very wise, you see, but I wish that a sweet were still fun to eat. Now a penny's a memory.
Eartha Kitt had a long and fascinating career. Her first starring role was as Helen of Troy in Orson Welles' staging of Dr. Faustus. After that, she was cast in New Faces of 1952, where she introduced this next song written by Arthur and June. Singing it is the Tony-winning actress Tanya Pinkins. Tanya told me that she sang this song with Eartha at Carnegie Hall shortly before Eartha died of colon cancer in 2008. Tanya recorded this for us in Seoul, Korea, where she is editing a film she produced, wrote, and starred in. Here's the sheet music for this song. Luckily, I was able to get Eartha to sign, as you can see. That's from the film of New Faces. And here is Tanya Pinkins singing Monotonous.
Everyone gets into a dull routine if they don't get a chance to change the scene. I could not feel wearier, life could not be drearier if I lived in Siberia. I'll tell you what I mean. I met a rather amusing fool while on my way to Istanbul. He bought me the Black Sea for my swimming pool. Monotonous for 30 days. Salt air I sniffed while I was shipwrecked and cast adrift with a man who looked like Montgomery Clift. Monotonous for what it's worth. Throughout the earth, I'm known as a femme fatale. But when the yawn comes up like thunder, brother, take back your Taj Mahal. Jack Bath made a new style for me. I even made Johnny Ray smile for me. A camel once walked a mile for me. Monotonous, monotonous. I could not be wearier, life could not be drearier if I lived in Siberia. Traffic has been known to stop for me. Prices even rise and drop for me. Harry S. Truman plays Bop for me. Ooh. Monotonous. T.S. Eliot writes books for me. King Farouk's on tenterhooks for me. Sherman Billingsley cooks for me. Monotonous. For what it's worth, I've got acres of dough, though I'm not sure of the amount. It might be exciting one day if I learn to count. Oh! Shanghai Shek sends me pots of tea. Gaylord Hauser sends me vitamin D. And furthermore, Trump likes me. Monotonous, monotonous, monotonous.
4 years later, Leonard Sillman and Company decided to produce another New Faces show. This time they discovered people like Jane Cannell, Billy Hayes, Tiger Haynes, Virginia Martin, Bill McCutcheon, Inga Swenson, and that great musical comedy actress, Maggie Smith. Here's the music, some sheet music from New Faces of 1956. This is the song you're going to hear right now. This was sung originally by John Reardon. Today we have Broadway actor J. Aubrey Jones.
Other with not a word to say. The object of your wooing seems very far away. You're not much for talking. The right words seem hard to find. So if silence gets you nowhere with her, you'd better say what's on your mind. If she's not aware just how much you care, tell her, tell her. If in love you'll find she can't read your mind, tell her, tell her. Does her smile seem sad, far away and strange? Speak
suddenly you'll see her change. Whisper in her ear things she wants to hear. Tell her, your eyes cannot reveal all the wonders that you feel. Tell her, it's not hard to do. Just say I love you. How is she to know if you never tell her so? Tell her, it's not hard to do. Just say, I love you. How is she to know if you never tell her so?
I'd like to mention a few members of Arthur's family who are listening today. When I acquired Arthur's sheet music collection, I sent $100 a month for 2 years to his brother Eddie in Jacksonville, Florida. I never got to meet Eddie, but 89-year-old Eddie is listening to our show today, as is his daughter Frances in Atlanta and her son Ryan. Barry Kleinbort was one of Arthur's best friends. He directed our next performer's acts. He suggested that I ask her to sing a song. This is the song I discovered. She and I discovered this gem, also from New Phases of 56. And I'm thrilled to introduce singer, songwriter, recording artist Sarah Zahn, accompanied by composer-arranger Alan Kashkin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, and this is Alan. And we're so happy to be included in this celebration of the songs of Arthur Siegel. You sit in your chair, and your world is so small. You don't know the wonders that are waiting at all. The years race along, you run for the prize. Oh, stop for a while, for a word to the wise. Don't wait till it's too late to see Paris. Don't wait until your heart's no longer free. The Eiffel Tower may crumble, the chestnut blossoms fade away. So don't put it off and mumble, I'll see Paris someday. Don't wait till time has had its fun with you. Don't wait till romance is done with you. The river Seine looks small and dry when seen by a weary eye. So while your heart is young, you'd better fly until you're underneath a Paris sky. You'll be glad you didn't wait too long, for I'll be there and that's where you belong. Don't wait to see Paris. Go while your heart's free. The Eiffel Tower may crumble, the chestnut blossoms fade away. So don't put it off, don't wait till time has had its fun with you. Don't wait till romance is done with you. The river Seine looks small and dry when seen by a weary eye. So while your heart is young, you'd better fly until you're underneath a Paris sky. You'll be glad you didn't wait too long, for I'll be there, and that's where you belong. Thank you.
I'm going to jump in time now to the 1980s. Arthur collaborated with lyricist book writer Tony Lang and director Miriam Fond on a revue called Corkscrews. This played at Paulson's late nights after Forbidden Broadway, which had started there the year before. The three of them got their own Hirschfeld drawing, which you can find on the recording of the show online. Some of the highlights of Arthur's writing for this show included Psychotic Overtures, a musical version of the film Psycho, done in the manner of Sweeney Todd. This used parodies of songs from Company and Follies. To sing a song from Corkscrews, please help me welcome the Crown Prince of Cabaret himself, Mr. Steve Ross.
My doctors have warned me to cut back on liquor. Now my true love has gone, and I feel even sicker. I am totally sunk, I can't even get drunk, because bourbon and gin are too rough on the ticker. My chances of future romances are slender. Now the teardrops are welling as I'm yelling, bartender. Make it another Perrier and lime. Make it a triple Perrier and lime. I'm drinking for love that's lost and thinking of how much it cost. The price of this drink is ridiculous, but I'm having another lime and Perrier. Suffering in a non-alcoholic way. It hurts that love didn't survive, and it hurts to be seen in this dive. But it hurts even more to pay $4.25 for a Perrier and lime. Leave out the lime, leave out the Perrier, and make it a straight seltzer.
Back to New Faces. It took them 6 years to get another incarnation up and running. This time they introduced performers like Patty Carr, who we just lost a few months ago, and Marion Mercer, and writers like Gene Shepard, long before he wrote A Christmas Story. Here to sing one of Arthur's songs from New Faces of 1962, and here's what the music looked like from this incarnation, is cabaret star Natalie Douglas.
You have the look of a pessimist, the look of a person who's never been kissed, never been missed. You won't get applause, you'll only get hissed. I must say I don't agree with you. We have different points of view. You see a crow very solemn and black. I see a robin that sings. I see a robin where you see a crow. Depends on how you look at things. You see a storm with fight. I can see how sweet it'll be when they make up tonight. You feel the cold when the winds of March blow. I feel the sunshine of spring. I feel the sunshine. You feel the cold. The way you want to be depends on what you see, depends on how you look at things.
I mentioned that John Reardon introduced Tell Her in 1956, which you heard J. Aubrey Jones sing. John also introduced this next song, and here's the sheet music for it, also from that New Faces of 56, also sung by John Reardon originally. Here's Jay to sing it for you from New Faces of 1956. Here is The White Witch.
On the island of Jamaica, at the turn of the century, lived a white witch named Lola Johnson, who was bad as a woman can be. Shimba, Shimba, bad as a woman can be. But bad as a woman can be, that's how beautiful was she. On the island of Jamaica, at the turn of the century. Shimba, Shimba, at the turn of the century. Now the witch named Lola Johnson, she was as hated as a woman can be, but hated as a woman can be. That's how rich was she. Shimba, Shimba, that's how rich was she. She wore a jet black riding habit, and her face was white as sugar cane. She wore a jet black riding habit, and a whip with a bright red stain. Shimba, Shimba, the witch with a bright red stain. One day she rode through her sugar plantation with a black eye staring straight ahead. She rode to the feet of a new overseer and she smiled at him. Oh. And she said, when the moon is high and round and white and the mockingbird is still, come to the room with the candlelight in the house upon the hill. Many had gone to the house on the hill, to the room with the candlelight. Their true loves are searching for them still, when the moon is high and round and white. Don't go, overseer, was his true love's refrain. If you go to the room with the candlelight, you'll never come out again. Shimba, Shimba, overseer, she'll never let you out again. But bad as a woman can be, that's how beautiful was she. And the overseer had a roving eye, and very brave was he. He knew of the others slain, but he turned from his love's refrain. So when the mockingbird was still, he climbed to the house on the hill. The wind was high and it raced through the night, and it blew out the light of the moon. There she stood with a face of white. The end of this story is soon. When she was found, there was no one around. The story is told she was slain. She wore a jet black coat, and around her throat was the whip with a new red stain. Shimba, Shimba, Lola by the overseer was slain. Don't go over overseer was his true love's refrain. But the overseer was never seen or heard of again. On the island of Jamaica, at the turn of the century, lived a white witch named Lola Johnson, who was bad as a woman can be. Shimba, 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 bad as a woman can be.
You can find lots of Arthur's songs being sung on YouTube. This last one was in a film of New Faces from 1960, sung by Robert Clary. Now, you may remember Robert as LeBeau on Hogan's Heroes, but before that, he was known as Lucky Pierre in New Faces of 1952. Robert is now 94 and lives in Los Angeles. He was thrilled to say a few words of the man he calls his best friend. Here's Robert Clary.
I'm very happy to talk about Arthur Siegel. He was, for a very long time, first of all, he wrote songs from New Faces of 1952, which I was in it, and we became very, very close friends. And I was saddened when he died. I don't know one person who knew him who can say he was a terrible person. He had a great personality. He was a gifted composer, a good pianist, and I was lucky and my wife, to have him as one of our closest friends.
Sandy Stewart is a fantastic jazz and cabaret singer. Her son Bill Charlap is one of the top jazz pianists out there. I asked Sandy to say a few words about Arthur, and she wrote this for us. Arthur and I met in 1961 through my dear friend Kay Ballard while we were doing the Perry Como show. Arthur was Kay's pianist, friend, confidant for many years. Arthur was a walking encyclopedia when it came to theatrical shows and Broadway composers. He always knew trivia about the composers, what their lives were, what they ate for lunch, who they married, etc. But most of all, he knew every song, every verse. And for several years, Arthur and I worked together as a team, recording for Ben Bagley and performing at Michael's Pub several times, the Barns at Wolf Trap, the University of Delaware. Our shows were always focused on a specific composer-lyricist. He knew them all. He was a dear, gentle soul who loved music and brownies with real whipped cream. I will never forget him. Bill always called him Uncle Arthur. Now we have a really special treat for you, ladies and gentlemen. Bill and Sandy filmed this specifically for you this past week at Steinway Hall. The song is Where Is Me, which Arthur wrote for New Faces of 1968, the last of the New Faces reviews. Here is Bill Charlap and Sandy Stewart.
A woman is the property of everyone she loves in her life. She assumes the face of sweetheart, mistress, mother, wife, chauffeur, cook, teacher, and maid. The girl she started out to be is often lost, I'm afraid. I'm my children's mother, my husband's wife. You see, I'm the sister of my brother, but where in the world is me? I'm so many people, I've no identity. Somewhere in the shuffle, I guess I lost track of me. A man, they say, is what he does. He lives one life alone. A woman leads a dozen lives, and seldom one of her own. it's always we. Where in the world is me? A man, they say, is what he does. He lives one life alone. A woman leads a dozen lives, and seldom one of her own. I'm like an actress playing many parts. I'm the funny jester. I'm the queen of hearts. It's never I, it's always we. Where in the world is me?
Going back to 1962, I've always been a fan of Arthur's haunting melody for this next song. To sing for you is one of my dearest friends who was on Broadway back in 1949. She's still going strong in Hollywood. I'll let her introduce herself. This is the song and the sheet music. And here is Faye DeWitt.
Hello, my name is Faye DeWitt, and I am accompanied by the wonderful, glamorous Carol Weiss at the piano, and I'm going to sing an Arthur Siegel song, which was originally in New Faces of '62. I understand it ran 28 performances. Oh. However, I did it in a show called Nightclub Confidential, which was off-Broadway, and subsequently came to glamorous Hollywood, played here for about a year. Scott Bakula was the lead. And this was in the context of Nightclub Confidential. He, glamorous Scott Bakula, dumped older woman me for a younger, prettier woman. And so the song, which musically had this haunting, darling, darling, and the woman was like crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to do it that way tonight. I'm just going to sing it as it was written, I hope. Darling, your thoughts are far away. Darling, why do your glances stray? Your thoughts are all of the other one. Darling, please light my cigarette. Darling, can I make you forget? Must you remember the other one? Her arms may have been softer, but mine are here. Mine are near to hold you close to me. Darling, time goes so swiftly by. Darling, you're here and so am I. Can't you pretend I'm the other one.
I don't know the history of this next song, only that I love it. The lyrics are by Charlotte Kent, who first started working on Broadway in the 1920s, so I'd imagine it's an early song of Arthur's. Back to sing Don't Hang Up is John Peterson.
Don't hang up. I know I love us and it don't hang up. Wait just a second till I don't hang up. You know I have the keys to don't hang up. Your car, I ask you please to don't hang up. Could you just look around and don't hang up? I wonder if you found it, don't hang up. You got my reading glasses, I have your notes from a million camera classes. Used to be when lovers broke up, they broke up better. But I have your cashmere sweater here, and you have a winning lottery ticket, don't hang up. I know you hate to wake up, don't hang up. You mean we shouldn't break up, don't hang up. Go on, I'm fascinated, yes it would be complicated, don't hang up. You mean you're sorry and you still do. I hope I understand you, I do too. I'll take the car and drive it straight to you. And I'll be careful of the don't hang up! Not till I say I'm hanging up right now. I'm on my way. Hello?
Amongst the songs I discovered of Arthur's is this next one, written in 1962, with a lyric by the poet Ada Greenfield Morley. I think Arthur would be moved at how prescient the song is. Back to sing it is T. Oliver Reed.
America is a beautiful word. It rolls on the tongue like a song. America is a beautiful word, round and full and strong, warm on the lips like a tender amen. Say it and listen, say it again. America is a beautiful word. The sound of the word makes you sing. America, America, there is safety and strength in its ring. Sing it and hum it and say it, love it and think it and pray it. May our love for our country protect evermore our own, our American freedom-bound shore.
I talked briefly about Eddie Cantor and his daughter Marilyn at the beginning of our show. Their family became an enormous part of Arthur's life. One of his closest friends was Janet Gary, one of Eddie's 5 daughters. Another daughter married Robert Clary. I'd like you to hear a song written by Arthur with lyrics by Janet's daughter Amanda. Amanda wrote this for me to say from Amanda. Amanda says, Arthur and I wrote this song as a takeoff on all the LSD-related songs of the era, such as I Am the Walrus. But instead, the bear is Arthur in his usual navy blue suit, and the peppermint kiss is what we all got from his incessant chewing of lifesavers. I knew Arthur from literally the day I was born. I loved him more than I can ever describe. He was the light of every part as well as my life. He accompanied me on my very first cabaret, and I still treasure his scribbled lead sheets. There was never anybody like him, there never will be again. Here is Amanda Gary to sing A Peppermint Kiss from a Navy Blue Bear.
Riding through the forest on a marzipan day,
searching for someone to play a game of chocolate riddles. Walking through the sand on a coffee-warm day, trying to find December snow in May, and someone for a game of chocolate riddles. The circus, it started, my heart it did pound. I couldn't have heard it, but there was the sound of music on a licorice breeze. The animals walked out, the ringmaster talked out, announced the navy blue bear. The music stopped, and all but my bear did freeze. These things now past, I miss mostly the peppermint kiss from the navy blue bear that I bought. Walking through grass on a toffee-warm day, trying to find a child who will play a game of chocolate riddles. And all that is left, after all that I sought, is the peppermint kiss from the navy blue bear that I bought.
Amanda's mother, Janet, wrote a number of songs with Arthur. When Stephen Ross and I were looking through Arthur's songs, we thought this one was particularly moving. Please welcome back Steve Ross.
How potent is the picture of the days when I was young. Foolish choices from coaxing voices and immature words that stung. Remember the endless discussion, clouded by drinks that were swallowed too fast. Now I converse, sipping good red wine. It's great to have mellowed at last. I can read merely for the enjoyment and listen to songs that were never outclassed. There's no social statement in what I wear. It's great to have mellowed at last. Youth is such a scattered time when shifting emotions arrive. From sheer delight to deep despair, it's amazing we ever survive. I don't dissolve into wistful nostalgia, though some of my memories still play a part. Being adult is the natural result of learning to grow from the past. And now my love comes from a wiser heart. It's great to have mellowed. I love being mellowed at last.
Janet's son, Brian, was very close to Arthur. He was in charge of his estate and instrumental in my acquiring Arthur's sheet music. After Arthur died, Brian wrote this song. Now you get to see some photos of Arthur. Here is Brian Gary.
I hear you're making plans to have a party. I hear there's gonna be a lot of food. And I hear the guest list is great, but there's gonna be one empty plate. So forgive me if I appear to you as rude. But what's a party without Arthur? It's like looking at a bride without a groom. What's a party without Arthur? It's just a lot of people in a room. I always used to like to go to parties, I guess because I knew that he'd be there, and he'd make it such a success. But with him it never was less, and there's no one else who can fill that empty chair. What's a party without Arthur? It's like giving you a bat without a ball. What's a party without Arthur? I don't think it's a party at all. Now I've been told with time this healing stage will start, but is there any way to duplicate his heart forever? Never. What's a party without Arthur? It's like taking every painting off the wall. What's a party without Arthur? I don't think it's a party. I don't think it's a party at all.
Finally, I would like to introduce cabaret star Stephen Brinberg to sing what's likely Arthur's most famous song. It was originally in New Faces of 1952, but it has been recorded and sung countless times. Here as himself and several other people is Stephen Brinberg.
Poets write fancy things about love, they complicate it so. Love is like birth or death or taxes. Love just is, I know. Now in New Faces of 1952, this song was sung in many different styles by different singers. So in keeping with that theme, I'm going to do the same thing, starting with, what's her name, the funny girl, Barbara? Love is a simple thing. Love is a silver ring, shiny as a ribbon bow, soft as a quiet snow. Love is a nursery rhyme, old as the tick of time. And then there's the great one and only Julie Wilson. Love is so many things, bright as an angel's wings, gentle as the morning night, long as a winter night. Love makes an old heart sing, and it fills every empty place. Love is a warming place. Love is a simple thing. And then there's original cast member Eartha Kitt, in the style of Charles Adams. Love is a simple thing. Love is a poison ring, shiny as a lizard's tongue, quiet as a man who's hung. Love is so great
and grand, soft as a mummy's hand. And the amazing Miss B. Arthur. Love is a raven's croak, sweet as the poison oak, brighter than a coffin nail, gay as a widow's wail. Love makes an old heart stop. Love is the mating call when you've sealed him in the wall. Love is a simple thing. And the fabulous Cleo Lane. Love is a simple thing. Love is a magic ring. Much more fun than mistletoe. Gay as a puppet show. Love is the thunder and rain. Swift as a soaring plane. And Miss Julie Andrews. Love is a summer moon, gay as a big balloon, wild as a storm at sea, young as a calliope. Love is a touch of spring. It's as sweet as a first embrace. Love is a special face. And Miss Betty Davis. Love is a simple thing.
Thank you so much for joining us today in the American Popular Song Society's celebration of the songs of Arthur Siegel. Thank you, Sandy Durrell, for helping me make this an effortless experience. I hope you can join us next month as Tom Tost and I present a concert of the songs of Lou Spence, who you may know as the composer of Nice and Easy and That Face. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.